welcome to a Note from Mom podcast. My name is Amie Reed Skwiat, and I am your host. I am going to start by telling you a little bit about why I am here. I decided that I wanted to leave a legacy for my kids, especially my daughter, because I am a therapist. I am a therapist and a life coach, and I primarily help women, and I help women with their life and their transitions. And I'm also a mom, and so there's a lot that goes into the different areas that I have knowledge. And how it really went down is I read a book by she's an influencer. Her name's Jenna Kutcher, and her book is called How Are You Really? And when I was reading this book, I really felt seen. I felt heard. It was very funny. It's a great book. You should definitely read it. But in that book, there was a question of, what is your legacy? What are you going to leave for your kids? And I sat on that for a while. I couldn't think about I couldn't figure out how to put into action the things that I wanted to leave for my kids. So I feel like I've been told many times in my life that I have this knowledge in my head. I have a lot of knowledge, a lot of information that helps people. I've been told that I should use my voice more, get all this information out so people can benefit from it. And to be honest, I've just been too tired. I've been really tired. I've also been a little sick. That's a whole different story for a different episode. But anyway, I was sitting there thinking, okay, I want to leave a legacy. I don't have like a whole lot of money to leave to my kids, so it won't be like a monetary thing at this time, but I have a lot of information. And one of the biggest things that I would say scares me the most is it's not death. I'm not scared of death, but I am scared of leaving my kids and not being able to maybe raise them with this knowledge or guide them in the ways that I would like to guide them. So I thought, hey, maybe I should start a podcast and kind of share this information, not only to help other people, but to also guide my kids. And maybe someday they want to listen to me. Who knows? I also decided, I was sitting there one day, and not to be like doomsday or anything, but because I'm not scared of death, I'm just like, the most inevitable thing that we know is that we're going to die, right? I came to this conclusion. I think I was 37, and I was like, man, I'm just going to accept that this is what happens. I had so much anxiety about dying because this is when I started getting really sick. And I finally came to the acceptance of like, hey, like the one thing we know for sure is going to happen in life is that we're going to die. So I became at peace with it, accepted it, like, hey, this is going to happen. So I'm not scared of that. I was sitting there one day, I was taking a bath. I'm a big proponent of taking a bath. I know a lot of people think that's can be very weird, but whatever. It's how I process. At the end of the day, I take time, take a bath, process my day. And I was sitting there, and it was kind of after this book, and I was thinking about how to leave a legacy for my kids. And I was like, you know what? If I'm thinking about a timeline, all of my grandparents have at least lived to 90, right? So I've got a pretty good idea of, okay, I'm most likely going to live, if everything goes well, at least I'm going to live to 90, right? So I'm thinking back, and I'm doing the math. I'm like, okay, if I'm 90 and I die at 90, then my daughter will be 54 years old. And if my 54-year-old daughter started having kids when I did, which was later in life, then she's going to have an 18-year-old, right? And it's really struck me because I wouldn't say like an expert, because I'm not an expert at anything, but I am very knowledgeable about the quarter life crisis that happens in our 20s. I had a very rough quarter life crisis. I did a lot of healing. I found out a lot of things about life and experience. And that's kind of like my niche, if you will. And that's what I help a lot of women and young women with. And then if I'm being honest, later in life, when you hit like 45, 50, you kind of go through the same experience. It's just called the midlife crisis. So I help a lot of women through these transitions. And I was just sitting there and I was like, well, if my daughter has an 18-year-old, she hasn't even hit her 20s yet. Like, how would I be able to guide her through all of this and just be like a sounding board or have some kind of knowledge for her to feed off of? And so then I was like, oh, okay, for sure, I've got to leave this information for her. So then that's when it was kind of like, should I do a podcast? Should I write a book? What should I do? So I decided, I'm gonna use my voice. I'm gonna do a podcast. So that is why it's called A Note from Mom podcast, because I'm simply approaching this as I'm leaving a note for my kids. Right now it's mainly for my daughter, just because I help women. That is my specialty. Also, I'm a mom. I'm hoping, if that's her path in life is to become a mom, then I can help her in this area. And not that I don't want to help my other kids. I will leave information for them in a different way, but they're younger and they're boys. So that's a whole different kind of realm. I did decide to do videos also that might be up on YouTube or my website or something. And this is really just for my kids. This is for like, if they ever want to watch me or they want to see me. And I don't have a whole lot of videos of myself. I don't have a whole lot of pictures of myself. I've been better about that as I've had kids, but anyway, it's for them. So some days I'm going to come on here and I'll be put together. Some days I'll be on here and I'm probably have no makeup on and might be wearing my house robe. I have no idea. There's no expectations to this podcast, but I will tell you what to expect, because I am a person that loves to know what to expect. I don't have a lot of time and energy to waste. So here it is. Like I said, I'm a therapist. I'm a life coach. I'm also very well versed in wellness. Just due to being sick, I went through a whole journey of that and healing. And as a therapist, I'm obviously a very big proponent of healing the mind and working with that. But when I got sick, I realized our mind, like our head and our body, are connected for a reason. And one doesn't work without the other. And you've got to be able to heal your body. If you're not well in your body, then it's hard to be well in your mind. If you're not well in your mind, you're probably making yourself sick. So it all goes hand in hand. And so now I'm a big fighter for, like, you got to heal both. You got to have mental and physical wellness. And so I have a lot to say on that. And so it's going to be really just talking about my journey, healing my mind and then healing my body, and how to help guide my kids in those areas. And so we're going to start with like external things, because I also realized that, if we're out there and someone's in survival mode, it's very hard to go internal and do work that way. So yeah, I kind of have a guideline, but again, no expectations. I have no idea how many episodes I will do. I don't know if I will do them weekly, monthly. No clue. I have no idea. I've got 3 kids. I've got a business that I run. I have no idea. So there's that. This is just kind of your introduction to what to expect. I do have, lots of stories that go with these experiences, and I do very much hope to help other people through these words, if that's what they're meant to do. I knew that when I was 19 years old, I wanted to be a therapist. I actually have a whole paper written about it that I had to write in college. And so I did know that I wanted to be a therapist or counselor. I wanted to have kids. I wanted to be a mom. And thankfully, I got to achieve both of those. And I'm very grateful for that. These 2 things make me very, very happy. But what I've also realized is that I have a bigger purpose in life than that. And So if this knowledge goes out and helps people in a grander way, that's great. I am very simplistic in my ways, in the way that I talk. So I don't have these big words. I'm not going to be using therapeutic words that don't make sense. This is really for, like, I'm talking to my kids. So I'm really excited. And if you're along for the ride, I thank you for being here. And I hope that this can help you. I hope that this helps guide my kids and maybe even my grandkids someday. Who knows? So I think that's it for now. And thanks for being here. And to my kids, I'm going to say this. I love you more than the sun rises. Okay, bye for now.